the monsoon session of the Parliament that's seeing a fiery flashpoint with 4 MPs of the Congress party being suspended for the remainder of the Parliament session. The MPs were suspended after repeated warnings by the Speaker went unheeded. The Speaker asked the MPs to desist from getting placards in the well of the House and disrupt the proceedings. However, the protests continued, especially on the issue of GST and the rising food prices. Finally, the 4 MPs were suspended and have now started a protest at the Gandhi statue in the Parliament. The 4 MPs who have been suspended are Manickam Tagore, Jyotimani, Ramya Haridas and Pratapan. Earlier, a visibly upset Speaker Om Birla had also warned them to behave and hold the placards outside the House if they wanted to protest. He also said that this kind-heartedness that he has been showing should not be mistaken for weakness. But the warnings went unheeded.
आप अगर चर्चा करना चाहते हैं तो उसमें चर्चा शुरू करने को तैयार हूं और अगर आप तख्तियां और नारेबाजी करना चाहते हैं तो आप तख्तियां नाराबाजी करने का आपको अधिकार इस सदन से बाहर होगा। इस तरीके से सदन नहीं चल सकता। देश की जनता चाहती है सदन चले और इसलिए मेरा आग्रह अंतिम बार आग्रह कर रहा हूं, जो माननीय सदस्य आसन के सामने तख्तियां लाकर सदन की मर्यादा तोड़ना चाहते हैं वो पर्याप्त समय पर्याप्त मौका सदन के बाहर मिलेगा।
Meanwhile, the Congress has called the Speaker's action a way of muzzling the opposition and shutting down all criticism of the government. Remember, the monsoon session has not been very productive. The first week of the Lok Sabha has seen an average productivity of just 16%, with not more than 30% work being done on any given day. The government says in its defense that they have repeatedly offered to conduct a debate on price rise, but the opposition seems more adamant on disruption than have any real conversation.
Question of physically removed, I have expressed my anguish. Because Speaker said, see, you might have also observed, they are trying to bring the placard on the face of Speaker. So it was never done. When we were in opposition, we were also going to well. But Advaniji and Sushma Swaraj used to tell us not to cross half the mark. This is highly condemnable. And Speaker warned. Speaker आज बहुत स्पष्ट तरीके से वार्न किया, अगर ऐसे ही आगे आप बढ़ते हैं तो मैं एक्शन लूंगा। उसके बाद भी और स्पीकर का चेंबर में बातचीत हुआ, ये ठीक नहीं है, एक्शन लेना पड़ेगा, ऐसे स्पीकर ने स्पष्ट वार्निंग दिया। तब भी लेके ऐसे करते तो आगे।
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Modi giving a message to the opposition. This comes amid the ruckus that's been going on in the Parliament and 4 Congress MPs also being suspended. Prime Minister Modi now giving a message to the opposition. Remember, before the monsoon session started as well, Prime Minister Modi had appealed to the opposition that yes, we can have discussions, we can have debates in the House, but ensure that it is a fruitful session. But that has not happened. Like we mentioned, about 16% productivity is what has been seen in the Parliament. And now Prime Minister Modi giving a message to the opposition. It's the same appeal that he is making yet again. Oppose the party, not the country. That's the message from the Prime Minister coming in. A clear message to the opposition. If you have any objections, it should be to the party and not to the country. That's the message coming in from Prime Minister Modi. This comes amid the Parliament session seeing several disruptions. In fact, such an appeal has also come from the Vice President. He had also been talking about ensuring that the discussions are fruitful in the Parliament. In the monsoon session, as of now, there's been only 16% productivity. While the BJP, the government, has blamed the opposition completely for it, saying that the opposition is ensuring that the discussions don't go on. On the other hand, the opposition says that the government is not ready for any discussions. Mohit Bhatt is on the phone line with us. Mohit, Prime Minister Modi giving a message to the opposition. This comes after, of course, 4 MPs were suspended. Take us through that message that the Prime Minister has given.
Well, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was speaking at an event where he said that this is the responsibility of every single political party, that you can have your differences with a party, you have differences with a person, with an ideology, but that should not be the case that you are against the country. And also that different ideologies have different places in the democracy.
Okay.
But you carry the country.
All right, but Mohit, the question really is whether the opposition is listening. We have esteemed guests joining us on the panel today. Binay Singh, a political analyst, and Manasvi Thapar, lawyer and political analyst, joining us. Mr. Binay Singh, the government says discussions are just not happening and the government is to blame for it. But the opposition claims that the government does not want to have any discussions.
I always say that opposition is just not opposition. It is a part of the democracy. It has a role to play. It has a responsibility to deliver. And look, in the House, there is a code of conduct in the Parliament. We have witnessed some very worst kind of behavior in the Parliament in the past. And the parliamentarians must know that running the House is a very expensive business. A lot of money, is spent on that. And all this money used is not their money. It is public money. So the proceeding of the House must not be interrupted at any cost. And if you have questions, again, there are provisions to ask questions in a very proper manner.
But the opposition claims that the government is not listening. Mr. Manasvi Thapar, just 16%, that's the productivity rate. Is that something that the parliamentarians should be ashamed of? Because like he mentioned, it's the taxpayers' money that's going down the drain.
Precisely. I think this debate has been there every session. We know how the sessions are working. Every winter session, monsoon session. Last winter session, 12 MPs were suspended. Before that, in 2015, 25 Congress MPs were suspended. This is a new era of suspension. So you just want to suspend MPs. You don't want to have any discourse, no debates, no discussions on how to take the country forward. You just want to suspend and bombard.
No, but does the opposition want to have discussions? Are the discussions going to happen with the MPs just storming into the well of the House?
Look at the price rise, look at the petrol diesel rate, look at the way the rupee is falling. Obviously, everyone wants to have discussion. But the people in power does not believe in discussion. And the same people, while they were in opposition, they were considered the greatest saviors of democracy because these people used to criticize the then government.
So Binay Singh, is it eye for an eye? That's what happened when we were in opposition. So that's what's going to happen now.
So I am surprised, Manasvi. I thought I will make the whole world blind. We must upgrade. We must move into the next league. Look at the presidential candidate.
You are suspending.
Just a minute, Manasvi. It is a symbol of the democracy. And we have moved into the next league.
Okay, but even if their discussions are on price rise that concerns the common man, the discussions are not done in a way that it helps the common man. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. Mr. Binay Singh and Manasvi Thapar, thank you so much for joining us. On that note, we're slipping into a short break here. We'll be right back with top news and updates. Do stay with us.